Hey, it's Lynn Brown. I'm a speaker, trainer, and coach with the John Maxwell team. I spent the first half of my life people pleasing. And then in my spare time, I was literally trapped by the opinions of other people. Then one day, I took a step, not 100 steps, just one step in the direction of my dreams. And things began to change. I'm determined to become the best version of me. I have committed the rest of my life on this big blue rock, partnering with people who want to do the same. Today, we're going to dive into the idea of awareness. Now, first, let me say this. I spent the first half of my life very unaware, so I should give you all hope. But what I've learned in these last 5 years is that what you become aware of, you can fix. Now, that should make us all feel better. I was stuck in the comfort zone or status quo for the first half of my life. I was average in many areas of my life and below average in more areas of my life. And there's truly one reason and one reason only that I was not aware of at the time. My own limiting beliefs were actually holding me back. It wasn't my circumstances, my bank account, what college I went to, my grades. It wasn't my friends, my zip code, the family that I was raised in. It was my belief. My belief was driving my behavior. Now, I had never heard that before until I moved into this growth environment and my mentor spoke truth into one of the first calls I was ever on with him, Paul Martinelli. He said, "Your belief drives your behavior." And it was like my life flashed before my eyes. I was just shaking my head. I've often asked myself, growing up and even through high school, college, and even in my early married life, I wonder if this is it. Is there more to life than this? And then I jumped. And when I say jumped, I'm talking afraid, jumped, having no clue what I was doing, and I jumped. I had to borrow the money to invest in me. I even had to borrow the belief because honestly, I did not have it at that time. And when I went to the certification, my first training certification, I even had to borrow a car. So there you have it. There's the truth. Sometimes, we look at other people and their situations and we think, oh, if I had that or if I was in their shoes, then I could blah, blah, blah. Well, trust me, we all are doing the best we can do and we all make messes. So again, let me encourage you. But for the first time when I decided to make this move, I didn't survey 100 of my closest friends and family. I just knew it was a step in the right direction. And for the last 5 years, I have been immersed in this growth environment. I am drinking from the fire hose. I have 7 mentors. It's like one for every day of the week. And recently I just added a health coach, and it's so amazing. In the last 3 weeks, I've lost 7 pounds. Now, y'all, I have not lost 7 pounds in the last 7 years. So what does this all mean for you? I just want to encourage you. I have made so many messes in my life, and I got an early start at it too. I can remember in elementary school. Now, as I look back, my limiting beliefs, they began way before the age of 10. Just recently, this weekend, I was sitting under the teaching of Dr. Bruce Lipton, who wrote The Biology of Belief, and he shared that, our personhood, who we are, is pretty much established by age 7. It's like, wow. I was introduced to alcohol in the 7th grade. I began to seek attention any way that I could. And I'm not getting into that today because honestly, we don't have enough time. So that'll be another time. We'll tune in another podcast for that. But let's just say I looked older than I was. I was insecure. And I thought somehow being in a relationship with a guy would make me happy. But I was still unaware of what was driving my behavior. I stumbled through school and college. digging a deeper hole for myself. The weight of shame and guilt began to hack into my joy, but my face never showed it. I mean, I was basically living two lives. So this pattern continued for years. I was unaware. I got married, had two amazing boys, and I even parented out of fear and control. All I was aware of was that I did not want my children to grow up with limiting beliefs that had shaped so many of my choices. I chased after business after business after business. I had a little success here and there, but I had a serious case of chasing shiny objects. And I woke up in ICU. It's been about 7 years. And I'll tell you, waking up in ICU to discover, that you had a heart attack, that will cause you to kind of hit the pause button. And so I hit the pause button and I began to ask my questions. I just kind of slowed everything down. And maybe there's some of you listening to the sound of my voice and listen to this podcast, and maybe you just need to pause. Maybe you just need to slow down and begin to ask yourself those questions that you have not been wanting to ask yourself. What is driving your behavior? My journey over this past 5 years has literally changed every area of my life. I mean, I used to try to control things that I feared. I feared other people's opinions. I feared ideas and people that were different from me. Now, let's don't get confused. I wasn't prejudiced against other, nationalities or other types of people. I truly have a very compassionate part of my heart, and I love to help people. But if ideas were foreign to me or I did not know enough about them, I feared them and I would box them up and I would control, my kids from being exposed to it, or even my own mind from thinking into it. I feared people knowing my truth. The mask and the armor that I wore began to really get heavy. I mean, you carry that stuff around for, half your life and it begins to get it begins to get really heavy. And so in August of 2015, at a worship service in the World Marriott with the John Maxwell team, I finally started to see. I had this clarity. It was at that time I began to be very intentional with my gratitude and began to write down daily gratitude. And I have been doing that since 2015. And I can say, and I've said this before on these podcasts, and I will say it again and again, I will never not say it, that one practice has replaced the shame and guilt. As I mentioned, just 2 days ago, I was sitting in a training with the executive directors of our team, and Dr. Bruce Lipton was teaching. It was way over my head. Trust me. It's on the biology of belief. And he said something that I'll never forget. And I was very aware when he said it, I could sense just this heaviness just departing from my heart, my soul. He said, when we parent from awareness, or when we lead others, from awareness, whatever it is that you do, he said, there is no guilt, only change. So no more beating myself up over decisions and how I parented and where I failed. Today, I'm moving forward. I'm intentionally growing myself. And I ask and I have to answer the hard questions. My Creator did not screw up with me. And guess what? He didn't screw up with you either. And we're all created in His image. But it's not just knowing that's a fact. We must believe it. And y'all, I sat in church all my life thinking that I was not enough, thinking something was wrong with me, thinking that all the choices I had made up to this point had defined me and had kind of written out my history and my destiny, and that I was just going to have to just be stuck here forever. I mean, I had this little glimpse of hope. I never lost hope. But knowing that and believing it was two different things. So I want to encourage you. If I can get from where I was to where I am now, don't start thinking I think I've got it all together, because trust me, I am making messes every day. But y'all, we're all in this together, and we're all so much more alike than we are different. We have to encourage others and serve others and add value to all we meet. If we help enough people get what they want, Zig Ziglar said, we will have what we want. We need to love our neighbor, love our families, our children, our spouses, ourselves. Yes, love the people that look like us and the ones that don't. We need to be better so our families will become better and our communities will become better and the world will become better. The world needs us at our best. So sometime in the next 24 hours, I would encourage you, this is your action step. I want you to rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. How are you doing? What belief is driving your behavior? How aware are you? Now, I'm going to be honest, if you looked at my, GPAs and my test scores throughout the years, I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed. But you know what? It's not about that. It's about those of us that are crazy enough to believe that we can change the world. We're the ones that are changing the world. I got to tell y'all this before we go, but I witnessed transformation around a table this weekend. We sat around a table in an interactive assessment, and we were asking and answering very tough questions. And one participant had just been discharged from the hospital, actually drove from the hospital to this event, missed the first day of training, almost didn't show up that night, but he walked in. He came in so transparent, so broken, and total strangers from around the world reached across that table and embraced him. And he left a changed man. So just start where you are. Just start. Is there more for you? Feel free to contact me, on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. Just contact me if you feel like there's more for your life. And remember, gritty is the new pretty. Write down your daily gratitude. G is for that gratitude and gritty. Up-level your resilience. If you can look up, you can grit up. Inspire others. Think for yourself. Toughen up. And you do you. You are enough. Simon Sinek says, never let reality interfere with your dreams because the reality can't see what you see. And if you could see what God sees in you, you would never doubt who you are and that you are enough. So hold your gritty image, and I'll see you next week.